your family, please. And so my husband doesn't eat them. Thank you. Please, please eat the burrito. Anyways, thanks, Karen. Karen brought in some shots. There's some margaritas, some fun stuff, non-alcoholic stuff in the back if you guys don't observe or partake. But either way, it's just a good excuse to get together and to really honor like this day. Because Cinco de Mayo is a lot about celebration, but it's also about a heritage and a culture that we want to honor and recognize, right? So thank you guys all for being here and for celebrating. We're going to have a fun, exciting meeting. Simon's here with some broker updates. Y'all know you love to hear from him. He hears so much on both sides, and so we're excited to hear what he has for us today. So without further ado, let's kick this off. You guys, here's our support team. We're here to help you. Reach out to us if you guys have anything. We're always here, whether it's me or Summer or Doug start at the front and you're not sure who to go to, call us because we'll help direct you. Shout out to our May birthdays. Anyone here in the room have a May birthday? If so, please stand up for me and come to the front of the room, please. Yes, don't be shy. Come up to the front of the room. Come up here. Good, Marcia can hold the cake. Thanks, Marcia. No, just kidding. Okay, May birthday's coming up here, you guys. Dougie, Summer, do you guys have the cake there? Oh, here he comes. You got the cake, Dougie? Yeah. Thank you. We need people to sing happy birthday to. Okay, are you guys ready? Do you have your voices all ready? Okay. So let's sing happy birthday to all our May babies. If you guys are on Zoom, happy birthday. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear May babies. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Okay, wipe it, blow it out, do something. There you go. Nice. Yay! Thank you. Thanks, guys. You know, May, there's a couple months here in the spring and summer that are our most birthday months. And I always think about what was 9 months before. They're our big, heavy birthday months. All right, let's give some gratitudes and shout outs. I want to give a shout out. I know we just talked about it earlier this morning, but shout out to Marcia for a second transaction in the program. Shout out to you, Marsh. Who else has gratitude and shout out, some love, some wins they want to share with people? Many, you've got one.
Not here yet, I think, great. You're going to show the banner you made for afterwards for the Red Day, but
grab the banner in my desk.
The guy was really, prepping himself that looks out about what Jim is going to be your 100% also as well. The big festival for especially kids and young adults. And again, he just took it to the next level, so I'm just very proud of him. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, look at, okay, so Vanna Doug, come here, Mr. Doug. So Drake put together all of these awesome posters, and it's just a good example of like, hey, taking it on himself and putting it together. So we have a bunch of fun activities. If you guys aren't signed up for Red Day, you're going to miss out on one of the best cultural events that we have as a company. We've got all sorts of fun stuff that we're going to get to help and to share with people. We have mini golf. We have like all sorts of fun stuff that's going to happen there that day. Bubbles, face painting, like the whole thing. So again, shout out to Drake for doing those. They're so pretty, and we just wanted to kind of show it off and just talk about the leadership for that. So thank you, Drake, when you see him. Does anyone have any other wins or shout outs, gratitudes, things like that to give? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, Teresa. Oh. Who is thankful for Doug in this room? Will you clap? Yes. We love our Doug and Summer. Clap for Summer too. Yeah. We love our peeps.
Who has the cake? That's what I like more today.
We just love you guys. That's great. Thanks, Teresa. All right. Okay, next up, let's celebrate our closings. We had a nice solid week this week. Congrats, Nolan, Richard, Rob, Dana, Live Distinctively ×3. Congrats, Robin and Jen back there with Grace. Tim, Eric, and Marcia, congrats. What does that equal? 9,533,000. Solid week, guys. Remember, that's old production that just happens in 1 week at this office. It's really strong. Let's take a look at the new listings on market. Jeff has a new listing out in Westminster. It's listed for $989, 3-bed, 1-bath. Robin, Jen, you guys want to pitch your listing? There you go. On the screen.
That is all the way in Wildemar in Timbuktu, and it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath and a half. It has like a little apartment, and it's all permitted and everything. Yeah, it's really turnkey. It's really cute.
Awesome. Thank you. Congrats.
That would be cash.
Yeah, it's something that one of those builders, Lennar, did called like a next gen apartment, and it's like all
Yeah.
really cool.
That's awesome. Congrats. Jessica has a listing out in Canyon Country listed for $445, 3-bed, 2-bath. Kendra Miller has a listing on Argonne and Long Beach listed for $2.495, 4-bed, 1-bath. Eric Green has a listing out in Cerritos. It's listed for $1,499,900 and it's 3-bed, 2-bath. And now let's open it to the room. Listings that are coming soon, new to market, almost there, buyer needs. Start with Jeremy.
Thank you, Dougie. I have a listing in Bixby Knolls here in Long Beach. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 3565 Linden Avenue, 208. The complex is VA approved. HOA is around 474. And asking price is $364,900. It'll come live around the 10th. So it's a really good opportunity for first-time home buyers. Needs a little TLC, but it's a good starter.
That's great. Parking?
Parking, yes, it has one parking spot in the
Ooh,
garage.
you guys, condo with parking.
Yeah.
Laundry in the unit?
No laundry in the unit, but in the building.
Good.
In the building, there's
Okay,
6
good.
laundry rooms in the building. So
Good.
that's a lot.
Great work.
I also have a buyer need. Still continue to search for them. Tustin, Orange, Villa Park. We're looking for a 4 to 5 bedroom house, 3-bath. Turnkey around $2 million. Tear down TLC 1.1 million. I also still have my land deal out Palm Springs, between Palm Springs and Morongo, approximately 1 acre. Price point $90K.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Also, too, side note, you guys, because this made me think about this. Have you guys been seeing the team meeting recap emails that have been coming out? Okay, cool. So we're going to also include, Doug and I talked about in that recap email, we'd love to include your coming soons and needs that you guys stand up in the meeting and pitch. So if you guys have something that's not on the slides, please email it to Doug by the end of the day on the team meeting day, and he'll include it in that email out to the office and give your name and info. Okay, so make sure you share it with him, Jeremy. Thanks. Who else? Listings to pitch, buyer needs. We'd love to include that in the email. Raise your hands. Good. Not good. I'd like some pitches, but all right. Oh, good. Okay, you have a need. Okay, cool. And then we'll move on.
Hi, Emily Love. My leasing client is considering a purchase, but is looking in Leisure World. So if anyone has anything coming up in Leisure World, in the 250 to 350 range. And also she's still open to leasing. So 1-bedroom, 1-bath, East Long Beach, Seal Beach, Huntington, 3,000 a month or so.
Awesome. Thanks. Contact Emily. Congrats. Anyone else? All right. Next up, let's bring our broker up here, Simon Kazara. Is coming up here. Round of applause for Simon.
All right. Good afternoon. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Yes. I was talking to they're really into it, right?
I know. We're just about anything with our office. If you get food and alcohol, they're really into it. It could be any holiday.
Yeah, I think it's the
Any holiday.
margaritas. Yeah, great participation. So thank you very much. All right, wanted really to shadow and give you some perspective. You know, I deal with a lot of different situations on a daily basis. Some good, some not so good, and some are really, really tough and horrible, right? But it's knowing how to navigate it. You know, also this morning I was on the producer's mindset and I was talking about how to handle and have a poise and lead of conversation. So, you know, I know what we do, and I think many share with it. You know, real estate is complex. It's a little bit sometimes up and down, and you know, it puts a lot of strain sometimes in the transaction. But know that we're here to support you, right? We're here to help you navigate that. So today I wanted to share with you. Let me see if I'm doing this right. Dealing with multiple offers. Okay. So the reason I want to have this discussion is because I'm still getting a lot of confusion when it comes to the seller counteroffer and the seller multiple counteroffer. And I want to distinguish one from the other and how you can ultimately get yourself in a situation that you just don't want to be. And you're thinking, well, Simon, why are we talking about multiple counteroffers? All right. You'll see as I explain, because these are real life situations that do happen and happen frequently. So I thought today's segue was to talk a little bit about the multiple counteroffer. So, you know, the guidance for agents and sellers and how to navigate a competitive approach. So the seller multiple counteroffer, when and how to use it, right? So use the seller multiple counteroffer when you do actually have multiple offers. Have you been in a situation where you think, is the listing agent really have another offer, or they're just saying that they do, right? And then they use a seller multiple offer when intent they probably don't. I want to emphasize and I want to stress the importance is, you know, to being compliant. If you do have multiple offers, then that's fine. Use the seller multiple counteroffer. If you don't have multiple buyers, then use the singular counteroffer. Now, what if this situation happens, right? You're the listing agent as an example, right? And you get an offer, and now you're in negotiations and you're using the seller counteroffer, right? And then while in negotiations, another offer comes in. What is the next step as a listing agent to do so when you have another offer coming in? Anyone? I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're in that situation, and this offer may be good or this offer may be not so good, it doesn't matter. You have another offer coming in, right? So the essence in how you would approach it as a listing agent is to send a withdrawal of offer to the existing buyer that you're negotiating or the agent that you're negotiating, stipulating and telling them, hey, we're sending a withdrawal of offer because we have another offer coming in. So we're rescinding that offer and now we're in a multiple counteroffer. Does that make sense? Okay. Because the minute that the seller accepts the terms or vice versa, then you have an executed agreement. And unfortunately, you have to now open escrow. But if you can avoid it, because if the other offer that comes in is a lot better and you want to see where that stands, then what you want to do is rescind this offer and now explain to them we're in a multiple counteroffer scenario. So now it gives you an opportunity for the seller to negotiate terms on two different buyers. Does that make sense? Okay. So from a listing agent's point of view, you know, it's a good thing. Now, the beautiful thing about the seller multiple counteroffer, it has specific language that the single counteroffer doesn't have. Okay. And I'll explain a little bit more. There's two sections on the seller multiple counteroffer that the seller must sign, not just one, but two. Okay. So the beautiful thing and the dynamic about the multiple counteroffer is I can have different terms, conditions with one buyer and my terms and conditions with the second buyer differently. It doesn't have to be the same. Okay. So when navigating this, even if those two buyers come back and accept the terms of the seller, guess what the seller can do? They can basically still recounter, not accept, or or accept any of the two offers that come in. With a single counteroffer, the cautious approach is that if you use the single and then you get another buyer and you think that the seller counteroffer also works with that, you're mistaken. Because what happens if both come back and accept your seller counteroffer? You see where this gets a little sticky, right? This is where it causes. And the problem here, it's not like, oh my gosh, I did something wrong, is the two buyers are going to think that they have an acceptance. And then that opens up a can of worms, okay? Because they're going to say, well, my offer got accepted. I have the seller acceptance here that says that I got this offer accepted by the seller. Well, no, I have this offer accepted too as well. And then that causes a situation. So to avoid that, this is where the multiple counteroffer comes into play. All right, so tailor each seller multiple counteroffer as paragraph 2 allows different terms per buyer, watch contingency deadlines and all that. So the cool thing about the two differences and the distinguishes, it allows the seller to navigate. And it can be not just one or two or three, it can be 4 different counteroffers that you're sending to 4 different buyers, right? And let's say that all 4 come back and accept the terms of the seller. The beautiful thing is the seller can then renegotiate or accept one of those and then open escrow, right? So the essence is also the specifics. What you don't want to do is use the seller multiple counteroffer unless there is multiple offers existing, right? So don't go using, and I've seen situations where the agent is confused, is what they say, that they say they send out a seller multiple counteroffer to one agent, because now it puts a little bit of strain in the situation. Is there another offer that we're negotiating, right? So that's where it may get a little bit of a convoluted conversation, especially if you're the buyer's agent representing the buyer, and now you get a multiple counteroffer. Is it okay? Let me ask. Is it okay for the buyer's agent to ask the listing agent, do you have another offer in place, and can we see that offer? Is it okay to say that? How many listing agents will actually provide that? Have you heard of anyone asking, hey, on the counter offer, can we see a copy of the executed offer or the offer in negotiations that you're working with? Okay, very far and few that happens. Because I can now say is that the seller has requested for me not to divulge that information, and that's a legitimate approach, right? So you got to be very, very careful in how you navigate that. Default to highest and best requests. Asking buyer to resubmit is not a counteroffer. So this is just me, and this is me. Take it for face value, okay? And what I mean by this, I personally do not like when it says highest and best. And I know I'm going to get a lot of people say, Simon, I see that all the time in all of these offers. And I get it. Look, I'm not saying not to do it, but I'm just telling you from my point of view and how I see things, because I see things a little different. I don't like that language. And the reason is it's a little bit convoluted and it's uncertainty for me, right? And we see it all the time, and I get it. So for me, if I'm the listing agent, I'd rather be truthful and transparent in the approach. And what I would do is I would put a fixed amount that the seller is asking. Okay. So let's just say it's listed for $1 million, right? And now you have multiple offers. And now you submit a multiple counteroffer, you get a multiple counteroffer, and now you're asking the buyer, well, what do you think we should submit an offer on? Have you got that question before?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you navigate that conversation is, are you supposed to tell the buyer what they should be offering, or should they be telling us what they should be offering? Absolutely. But what happens often? They always ask us, well, what do you think? Right? But what if they pay more than what they what if they pay more than what they shouldn't have paid for? Right? Because it's uncertain, right? Now, can you ask the listing agent, how many offers do you have and what's the highest offer you have? How many people have you heard, or agents have you heard that they say, well, I can't divulge that information?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But you know that on the listing agreement under paragraph, don't quote me, but it's paragraph, I think, 8 or 9. It says that if a direct question is asked on how many offers and what's the highest offer, you must divulge that information to whoever asked. True fact. Yeah. So use that as a negotiating tool, in my opinion. But yeah, it's perfectly fine to tell anyone, especially another agent, how many offers I have. It just shows transparency because the goal for me is to give the most possible with the least amount of headache to net the most to the seller. And how I'm going to accomplish that is one way is by divulging what I have. Okay, it's not a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. It really isn't. It's really just the transparency of the approach that I want to be open about what we have. And if you're willing to play, here it is. Because I don't want to sugarcoat it like a lot of agents. And it really annoys me that they are not in a position, they say, to divulge that information. For me, this is what we have. So either match it or beat it is my point of view. But you can definitely ask. Yes, sir.
And then saying that we will go up so much.
Yeah.
If you get another offer, we'll go up by this much if you have to beat it. And then when the appraisal comes back, if it's way over.
Well, pros and cons. I don't like escalation clause. Okay. And the reason I don't like it, one, there's no language in any of the documents that has a specific form. Now, if you go to Arizona, they actually have an escalation form. They really, truly do. California doesn't have that. And the reason is, you know, if you don't understand how to explain it to the consumer, you know, where do you cap on this? You know, are you going to pay more money because someone is also bidding to get that property? It's kind of a risky situation, in my opinion. Pretty risky. So if you can avoid escalation clause, avoid them, you know. But if the buyer really truly wants the property and is willing to do whatever it takes to get the property, then you just need to know what is the max you're willing to offer on this. Because at the end, it's not what I say, it's not what the listing agent says, it's what you're willing to pay for the property. You're the one that's going to be making the mortgage payment at the end of the day, right? So kind of look at it from that faucet as well. Yes.
Simon, we dealt with this a lot. Anyone in here sell a home during COVID?
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So remember the escalation clauses, and then they get into contract, and now they're paying 150 plus K over asking. What did the buyers generally do after that? What did they do after that when they were paying way more than asking? What happened? No. During escrow, what did they do, Janet? Buyer remorse. So what did they start doing? Oh, Mr. Seller, I want a 60K credit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm paying 150K over more, so I want a new water heater. I want a new this. I want to do that. So I think, yeah, and then we'll get to Janet in a second. I think one of the reasons, like, yes, escalation clause is a strategy that can be useful when needed, and we just want to be cautious of that because then what happens is it puts the buyers in this mindset of wow, I paid premium dollar for this. I'm paying way more than it's worth. And then they get in this mindset of like, how do I get some of that back? Am I right, Janet? Yeah.
yeah.
During COVID, well, it was kind of towards the end of COVID. I think it was 2023. I had multiple offers. 2 of them had escalation clauses. So we had dueling escalation clauses, which they started at a super low number, and then they battled past the value of the property until one, put cap in at 1.6. And so it ended it. So they went way above, what the property really was worth, but they were a cash buyer. They could afford it. So I told her she won at 1.6 because we're dueling escalation. She's, oh, hell no.
She says, I'm not, I remember that.
Yeah. And so like for a few days, I didn't actually know whether she was in or out. I
remember
stressed office. Like, what do I do? What do I do? So, as it ended up, she asked for quite a bit in repairs, And because my client was, ready to move on and stuff like that, he didn't battle back too much. We kind of came to agreement in repairs, but probably more repairs than we would have had
Totally.
it settled at a different number.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, it was like on eBay, where you have your pre-program, and that's what happened.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah. So it can work, and it can be. And during COVID, it was necessary for a lot of people to just get their offer accepted because you're being at 50, 60. But like we both talked about, like with Janet's, it's like have a cap in there. It's like have a cap, have a limit, have your client understand that. Simon, the other thing I was going to say when you talked about the buyer thing, lastly, was that with the highest and best, or with those things coming up, a good practice is to run a CMA. Right? You're the buyer's agent. Run a CMA on the property. What would you list it at? What do you think the value is? Like, we don't need to tell them, hey, here's what you should offer. Use the language, say, hey, what are you comfortable with? Here's what the market is telling us that the home is valued. Make your decision from there. Because some people will say, I don't care. I'll pay thousands of dollars over. I just want this house, and let them be empowered by that choice. But it's to us to bring value, to say, here's what I think the property should be priced at. Right? Yeah. Thanks, Simon.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on what Halley is saying, in those type of situations, buyer's remorse is one of the biggest things that you see cancellations. It may be exciting for the seller, but what's the excitement if the buyer backs out because they get buyer's remorse?
Totally.
Think I'm paying way over. Now, what is your safe clause here? What is your safe clause? That if you feel that the offer is way over that you feel comfortable, but you still want the property, what is your safe clause? Your appraisal contingency.
In most cases.
Okay. So as long as you have your appraisal contingency intact, that protects you if this offer is higher than what the actual appraised value is, right? So make sure that you understand that if you are going to go in a competitive or competing offer, that you also protect that contingency as well, because that can be a way to negotiate, but it is also a way to cancel if the appraisal is a lot less as well. Does that make sense?
Good point.
Yeah. So in essence, the distinguishes between the multiple counteroffer and the single counteroffer is when you have one buyer, you're in negotiations with them, then you use the single counteroffer. It's when you get multiple offers, then it pivots into that situation. And I look at it from two angles as well. Look, if you're the buyer's agent, right? Ask questions. The more you get, the more intel, the better position in how you're going to consult your buyers to ultimately get them into an accepted offer, into escrow, and then that way you go through your due diligence. Because I always believe that there's negotiations in the beginning, and there's also negotiations during, and guess what? There's also negotiations at the very end. I'm dealing with a very, very complex transaction right now that we're almost at the finish line, and the seller decided to cancel. And loan docs are already in escrow. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And now there's conversations around attorneys being involved. It's just the nature of what we do, ladies and gentlemen, and it's very difficult to be in those situations, but sometimes you just gotta have your hard head and just punch through. In these circumstances.
Simon, I think blanket statement, and you're comfortable with this. If you guys are in a multiple counteroffer, whether you're the listing agent or you're a buyer's agent, and you're not sure what to do, you're like, hey, I don't know how to advise my clients, or how do I present all these offers to the seller? Please reach out to us. Like, we can help you guys navigate and make sure that you kind of know the way to help protect your clients, and then also get the most money out of the property if that's what you're needing. So just reach out to us. We can help you navigate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And most of you definitely reach out to us, and we're here to help. I mean, I have conversations on the weekends too. If I can answer your quick question and get you what you need, it's a win-win for all of us, right? So, any questions regarding the seller counteroffer? Yes, Janet.
Always a question.
That's good.
Different scenario.
Okay.
What if one of the multiple offers is your double ending?
Good question.
Okay.
We can counter that.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more.
it's a made up scenario.
Okay.
But,
So it's not a real actual.
no. Yeah. But, just,
You're representing the seller,
mhm.
and you also have a buyer that wants to write an offer for the property, and you have 5 other offers that came in.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Right? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
you're basically saying if you represent one of those buyers
Yes.
and
you have
you're
other
on multiple counter offers, okay, you treat it as 2 separate entities, meaning, remember, you have the seller's best interest, so you have that hat, right? Now you have a buyer that is also interested in submitting an offer, then you wear that hat differently, right? You got to be very neutral. Remember, there is a form called the possible representation of more than one buyer, right? What that is a disclosure that tells the buyer and the seller, hey, I might be in a position of working with multiple buyers, submitting an offer with the same property. So that's the full disclosure aspect of it, right? Now, the essence when it comes to multiple offer is you got to treat it like if it's a separate agent. You got to advise, you cannot divulge or disclose, okay, any information because it compromises your position as a dual agent, right? Because what happens if the other agents find out that your offer was accepted and they find out? How do they find out about that? When you close the deal and you put it on the MLS that you're the listing agent and you're also the buyer's agent. And what if that offer and buyer offer was a lot less than some of the other offers that came in? Well, they don't know the history and the totality of what happened in the transaction. During escrow, a buyer may have asked for a request of repairs for $20,000, and instead of doing the repairs or the credit, they did a price reduction, right? There's so many scenarios that can happen. But in your situation, Janet, you just got to treat it very neutral, right? As you're navigating that and be fair across the board, right? And explain to the buyer, because if the buyer comes with you with a direct question, are you representing any other buyers? What are you going to say? Yeah, absolutely. Full transparency. Yeah, I do have. Are you able to tell me what the other buyers are offering? What's your answer to that?
According to that paragraph that you
She was listening.
Yeah.
Gold star. Or your seller could give express permission to say, no, you're not double doing that.
There's not right or wrong.
Yeah.
Every case is very interesting and unique in itself, right? So it's walking that fine line, especially when you're representing a buyer and you're also the listing agent. You just got to be very mindful and cautious because agents will always think that you're doing the opportunity to help that buyer get into escrow, right? And then that's where the ethics complaint come in and all that fun stuff. So I kind of hope that shares some light in your answer.
Because most of the time, the buyers will come to you because they think they'll get a better deal. They can go a little lower because you're going to lower your commission a little to double end it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times buyers go in, purposely going a little low because they see the opportunity for themselves.
Well, let's kind of role play on that situation. And the way I would approach it is, look, at the end, I'm going to present your offer of what you want me to submit. I just cannot tell you what the other offers come in and what the answer and ultimately what the seller's decision is. The seller may accept your offer, may counter you, or they may go with another buyer. So I'm just being fully transparent with this. I'm hoping, but if the other offers are better, then we can counter you to see if you're willing to come up on price, terms, or conditions, and that's how you have to navigate it.
Really common practice that a lot of producing agents will do in that scenario is they'll actually refer the buyer to someone in the brokerage so that way they do have separate representation. Not everyone likes dual agency. It's obviously an option and there's some limitations when we're representing the seller. So a lot of people will say, hey, Alicia, like here we go. I've got this buyer for you. They're wanting to place an offer. And I want to make sure they have a good advocate and someone that can, talk with them. That's okay too. And then you talk about what that would look like. So there's lots of options there. For sure.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is you have that arm's length approach where you're not representing the buyer. You have another agent and you ask for a referral fee.
Yeah,
You
just
still,
a
you still
referral
make
fee.
it a win-win.
Easy, win-win.
And at least you don't have the strain, because when you're a dual agent, as fun as it is, and you make a little bit more money, it can be very stressful when the deal goes sideways, because now you're kind of walking on eggshells. Is you work with the seller, but you're also working with the buyer too as well, right? So you got to be very, very careful. And that's where I see a lot of complaints and lawsuits come in, because do you have my best interests? Well, how can you when you really are working with two buyers? It's just, you need to know how to navigate the conversation and be very mindful and cautious in how you approach the conversations.
Good
So,
point. Thanks, Simon.
other questions? Yes.
You were representing a buyer, would you advise them to do multiple offers on different properties? How
good
do you
question.
implement that?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Would I advise? It depends on the situation. You know, I look at every case and I determine I wouldn't really recommend it, because what if you get two offers accepted? You know, there is no multiple counteroffer. Now, yeah, there's an exit strategy, right? You don't put in the deposit, the seller sends you a notice to perform, you don't perform, and you're out. But you don't want to be that agent also that people are talking about, hey, this is the agent that submits multiple offers. You know, so this is why transparency and knowing and understanding your client's wishes and negotiate on just one property is kind of the best policy in my opinion. But does it happen? Yeah. Sometimes the buyer wants to throw offers, and where I see it is like investors.
Yeah.
They're just throwing offers left and right. You got to be very careful too as well, because if the buyer's intent is really not to buy property A, but really property B, but they're hoping to get it, but they don't really want it, and now they want to cancel, you just put time, effort, and energy, and it's not fun. It really isn't. So to answer your question again, I don't recommend it. You know, just be very truthful and transparent with the buyer, and says, look, let's just submit and see where we're at. If this property doesn't work, then we look at another property. Yeah. Good question.
Secondarily to that, I was going to say, a lot of agents are not like responding as timely to a multiple counteroffer, so it might leave your client in limbo, right? Like, let's say they placed an offer on a Monday and they're going to go out and look for homes on the weekend and they still haven't heard back from an offer. So I just encourage you guys to have active conversations with your people. And technically, Simon, how long after they counter an offer, or how long after we place an offer, do they have to respond?
Typically, it's 3 days.
3 days.
3 days.
And technically, the offer expires after 3 days. So if they accept it on day 5, or say they want to move forward on day 5, your buyer technically has a choice on day 5 whether or not they want to move forward with the property. So kind of understand the timelines to that too, like just generally in the room. If your client's, you know, actively looking for homes, understand like, hey, how long was it since we submitted? When did we actually submit? When did they counter us and it started the clock a little bit further? Because those timelines lots of times is how you're getting out of an offer in that instance if they place multiples.
That's right.
Yeah.
But also look at it from a listing agent. If you're the listing agent and you get this agent submitting an offer, you're excited, right? You're working towards your seller's position to get this in escrow, but to find out that they had other offers and with other agents too, it's not a good feeling, right? So
No.
put yourself in that position. Is, do you want to be that agent that's doing that and not really committing to a specific property, right? So you got to look at it from those two different views as well. So. Any other questions? All right, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, just the key principles: protect the seller, utilizing the seller multiple counteroffer, because that doesn't tie the seller to just one specific buyer. It allows the opportunity to negotiate multiple buyers simultaneously, and then stay truthful. And then the counter should be clearly, you know, to me, again, as I stated, I don't like best, highest and best. I know it's used. I'd rather put a number there and see if the buyer is willing to play at that price, right? And, you know, some of the safe clauses like your appraisal and your loan contingency still intact. So that's pretty much it I have.
Awesome. Thank you, Simon. Thank you. Thank you for helping keep us out of trouble, right? Okay, Mike, come on up here. Mr. Mikey, what do you have?
Loans for holidays.
If only it were that easy,
I
right?
know, right? Well, actually, that's a great segue. So first of all, like always, like every week, here's the rates. But really, you can look up rates anywhere. You can ask us for rates. Really, what matters when I'm up here talking is telling you about loans that you can get or your clients can get. And so I just wanted to bring up and do a quick refresher. I know a lot of the newer agents who have attended classes in here know about the loan triangle, but I just want to kind of reiterate the loan triangle just so that everybody knows that the triangle obviously it has 3 points, right? Credit, income, and assets. And one of the most important things to know when you're working with a flexible mortgage broker like me or like Alex is that if you're weak on one of those and you're strong in the other two, we can typically get a loan for you. And so if someone doesn't have a lot in assets, I'm just going to give you like an applicable analogy here. So if you don't have a lot in assets, but you have strong credit and strong income, then something like a down payment assistance loan would be a great option for that person who is low on assets. Now, if you're low on credit, believe it or not, you can actually still get a loan if you have strong income. And when I say assets, think about the equity in the home, or if you're doing a large down payment. So if you're strong in those two areas, you can get away with having a lower credit score. Same thing with income. Anytime you have a strong credit score and the other piece, the asset is strong in there too, there's a lot of flexibility that we can have around income, whether it's like bank statement loans or sometimes there's even no income loans that we can do. So just remember when you're having your conversations with your clients these days, it's important to remember that the current economic state of the general populace is different than it was, say, during 2020 and 2021, when people had high savings accounts and low interest rates on loans. So I'm seeing a lot of the transactions that come across my desk these days have one piece that is kind of suffering. And so just remember that if someone comes to you and says, oh, yeah, I just don't make that much money, or, oh, I just don't have, a strong credit score. If they have strong pieces in the other two pieces or corners of the triangle, typically there's some sort of option that we can provide them. And so just keep that in mind as you're having your conversations with people. Just, don't discredit a conversation just because they say something like that. Let us take a look at it. We'd love to try and find a flexible option for any of the clients you're speaking with.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. Good to learn. All right, Sarah, I don't see her in the back. You guys, Sarah and Pacific Coastline Escrow are preferred escrow partners. They're there down the hallway. Stop by and say hi. And then also, I know, Dougie, why don't you text them too? They love Cinco de Mayo. They'll come up. They'll come up. They'll come up. They love it. Okay, let's bring up our title gals. Hey, ladies, welcome. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Michelle and Caitlin with Fidelity. We put a flyer out in front of all of you. I think Caitlin may have mentioned this last week, but this is on our Fidelity Agent app. The app is for mainly like your buyer, your seller net sheets, okay? But the money for you guys, the wins, I should say, are in the calculators, what they have. So they have done so many enhancements and things on these calculators. And I think every person in this room needs to be on that class tomorrow. I will put this app up against any company's NetSheet app and closing cost app in the industry. There is not a better one. And I'm not saying this just because I work for the company. I've seen them all and there's not. So everybody should be on this class tomorrow. They've got some new enhancements on the calculators where it's the data, you guys. And this market's really tightening up right now. So it's the agents that are having these conversations with their buyers, with their sellers, that are having the wins on how to translate certain things. So they've done different things though with AI and in the market data. They brought in local and national data as far as into your cost, the true value analysis on properties, different things like that. They also, the Prop 19, just a calculator as basic as that. It's fantastic. It will show you basically when you're talking to a client, if they choose to use Prop 19 or if they don't, the amount of money that they're saving, and it's tremendous. It's, I mean, I can't say enough good things. I don't know if you want to add on some
Well,
of the
it
other.
just was showing her because that's brand new, and I know I mentioned last time I was here how much I was geeking out on this calculator, but the Prop 19 was amazing. Like in 1 second, I put in, here's the address. It gave me an estimated price. Then it said, do you want to use Prop 19? What's the price of the property, the replacement property? It gave me a side-by-side comparison, how much I would save using Prop 19 over each year and then over 5 years. And I mean, it was a beautiful piece that will be branded to you. So check out that one. If for nothing else, check out that Prop 19 calculator, because we're getting a lot of calls on Prop 19 still. So use it for that. Jump on the class. Even if you can't make the class, I encourage everyone to be on it. Register so you get the recording.
Yeah.
Please
QR.
don't use that as like, please come, but register. Worst case scenario.
Well, it'd be great for you guys to get on just to see everything, because we're up here for 2 minutes, or whatever, and it doesn't do justice on what this really can do for you and your business. So we highly encourage it. The QR code's on there to register for the class. If you don't have the Fidelity Agent One app, let us know. We'll make sure you've got that app. We've got QR code just to get the app, but we really want you guys, you have to see it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys, remember MyNHD is your preferred partner for your natural hazard disclosures. Lena couldn't make it today, but please reach out if you have any questions. Walking through NHD stuff, flood zone, fire zone, etc. All of those things are covered by that. And then we have our home warranty with Christy as well. And let's take a look at our upcoming classes and events. You guys, I don't know if you heard the announcement, but a couple of weeks ago, Keller Williams did partner with Zillow to help create another option to preview your listings before they become active on the market. Now, we talked about it a little bit, I think, in the last team meeting a little before, that there is some strategy to this because we are all governed by a rule that's called clear cooperation policy, which says when we take a listing, we have to share it with the rest of the market unless it's purposely excluded from public marketing, right? Like, so we're all on the same page about that. Now, there is a little bit of wiggle room here that the rule says 24 hours and it needs to be on the MLS. And so that's why we do have some strategy to be able to use this possibly on a Friday where the next business day is Monday. So it allows you to have exposure all weekend. Now, when I say exposure, what does that mean? It means that on what's called Zillow Preview, when you post a home before going active on Zillow Preview, it will be shown and given priority on the Zillow feed. So there's a couple different benefits to that. Secondarily, there's some monetary benefits to any leads that come through on the Zillow system. You guys, again, watch the recording to talk more about that. And then thirdly, your property for your sellers is going out to thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people here in the area looking for homes, because Zillow is the #1 search engine by 5 than any other competitor. So think of any other realtor website, Zillow views them by 5, right? So there are, thank you, quite a few agents who've already started putting their listings on there. If you guys are not sure about how to follow clear cooperation policy, you have a listing to put on there and you don't know how to do it, please reach out to us. We'd love to help you, but continue to use the resource. Learning more details is here. Sorry, there we go. Now the QR code will probably work. Learn more details. We have the link. I believe that's to the slides that we talked about. And then there was a training recording of how to do it. Again, going into a few more of the ins and outs. So since this is a new program, as best practices emerge, we'll come up with some playbooks for you guys. We're going to feature some agents in the upcoming meetings that have had wins about it, as everyone starts utilizing it. So please use the system. Let us know if you have any questions.
So that's before it goes active, not before it goes coming in.
Good point. Yes, it has to be before it goes active. So you cannot place the property on Zillow Preview and then the 24 hours later make it coming soon. It's got to go from Zillow Preview straight to active. Good question. Yes, good question. Okay, next up, Lone Wolf Transact. You guys, just want to share this with you again and put it on your radar. Now is the time to use this. The more we're in and out of the program, you're going to love this because it cuts out an extra stop and an extra step for you to go to Zip Forms to get your forms. So remember, Lone Wolf Transact is coming up and is replacing DocuSign because it's now becoming an all-in-one platform that integrates with Command. Now, what does that mean? You won't even have to go to your normal car forms, Zip Forms anymore to pull an RPA. you can go to Lone Wolf Transact, fill out the form, have it signed, and with a click of a button, upload it to the opportunities for the back office. So instead, of going there, downloading, sending to your TC, getting your TC to get logged in, and then they're kicked out because they don't have a passcode, right, Doug? Am I right? Am I explaining 90 different stories? Now you can have your TCs work actively in your file, and you can send out signatures, and then with a click of a button, then add it to command. It's literally cutting out like 2 different steps. Now, the DocuSign deadline and takeaway is July 14th. So we're giving you guys plenty of time and training to be able to do that. You can still opt into DocuSign if you want. You just have to pay the cost of what a normal DocuSign account would be. But come to a lot of the upcoming trainings that we have. We can help you navigate some of getting your old stuff out of DocuSign. We can help make sure that your forms and templates that you have set up in DocuSign will now be set up in Lone Wolf Transact. Dougie has his first class that's happening tomorrow, right, Doug? Yes, where he's going to go over the basics, how to get it, where to log in, and what information to give your TC, since most of you guys are not probably active in these programs as much, right? So he's going to help you navigate all of that. If you have more questions about it, please reach out to Dougie. He's been a great point on the system, and we all as a leadership team have been learning it as well. So I'm really excited, again, to cut out one extra step. So that's happening in person and on Zoom tomorrow. Noon. Thank you. Noon, right? Yeah. Okay. So not that we have enough drinking and partying going on in the next 48 hours, but please join us for a happy hour too as well. Tomorrow after your Lone Wolf class, you can come in here and learn about computers, and you probably might need a drink after that. So 4 o'clock, we're going to walk over to the Watch Me Sports Bar, you guys. We've got a good group already that's going to come. Come join us over there. Have a beverage, have a little snack. We're going to have a good time. It's literally just across the parking lot, so it's super close. We should be wrapped up no later than 6, but we'd love to have you. It's a lot of fun. Kind of over by the Trader Joe's. Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow at 4 to 6. Simon, tell us about your class Friday.
Yeah, so this Friday, 10:30, I do record the sessions as well, but I'm going to be talking and diving deep in mediation for the consumers. You know, when the situation goes sideways, you know, we need to step back and let them dispute it, right? So one of the alternatives is part of the purchase agreement allows you to do mediations before it escalated into an arbitration and obviously a lawsuit. So we're going to discuss the mediation process, where to find it, how to register, what information, and all the fun stuff that involves mediation.
Yes, thank you, Simon, our pro cool head mediator. Okay, now that you haven't heard us talk about it enough, you guys, Red Day, again, coming up. That's just this next week. As a friendly reminder, our whole offices are closed. And when I mean our whole offices, every Keller Williams everywhere is closed internationally. That's how important our company takes giving back to the community. So if you're going to come into the office that day, just know you're going to have to use your key fob. Hope you don't, because I hope you're joining us over in the Torrance area. Again, we're going to have a great time. If you haven't signed up already, please do. If you need help with that, reach out. We can help you navigate the site. It's pretty simple. If you signed up to bring anything, many of you guys did that. Thank you. Generous in-kind donations. You can bring, there's waters or muffins. There's all sorts of stuff. Just make sure it's here in the office. I believe Doug, what day do you want all the items if they're donating items?
By early next week, like Monday, then we're going to transport them.
Great. Monday by next week, we'll help transport them over so that way you guys don't have to bring them over to the event. Even if you're going to volunteer, we'd like to have it a little bit sooner than that. Okay. Yeah, Simon, any other comments or questions?
Red Day for us is one of our biggest events. And what I love about it is, you know, giving back to the community, but more so, we have over 150 people that show up. You know, so it's a great event. The local channel, the cable channel is there. The Torrance Police Department shows up. Last year we had Home Depot help and sponsor it as well. And just the beautiful thing about working and networking with agents that offer to, it's just an amazing time. And there's going to be plenty of food for all of us to have as well. So it's a great event, guys. So we hope that all of you can make it.
And you have to come to see me beat Simon at mini golf. Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to start stretching my arms already. You get it. Anyways, oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen. Okay, here's the sign up link. Thank you, girl. Can you just follow me around all day and like give my burns to everyone? I love that. Anyways, here's the little sign up link just in case you guys don't have it. Like I said, we'd love to get you there. Without further ado, thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, right now after the team meeting, we have the bling party, right? So after this team meeting right now, they're going to start setting up. If you brought your Red Day shirt, we're going to put a little bling on it if you want. I know Dougie and Deborah are back there. They're going to set it up here in the area. So thank you. Thank you. The productivity coaching program. Yeah. So the new agents. Yeah. You can take one, Karen.